Hello, welcome to Math with Mr. Dobrescu, to the rescue. Today we are going to do some word problems and we are going to use the Pythagorean Theorem to solve these word problems. Let's take a look at the problem here. The football ladder is placed 6 feet from the wall. 6 feet from the wall, this is the foot of the ladder. If the top of the ladder rests 8 feet up from the ground, how long is the ladder? That's the question. How long is the ladder? And to the rescue here is coming the Pythagorean Theorem. Remember, a square plus b square equals c square. We proved it, right? Let's find now what's our a. So remember, our a is the smaller leg, which is 6 feet. So now we are going to substitute 6 feet for the a. And then we are going to substitute 8 feet for the b. And then we are going to find the c square, which in fact is our ladder, the length of the ladder. Let's see what we get. So instead of a square, we are going to place 6 square plus, instead of b square, we are going to write 8 square equals c square. Let's see what we get now. 6 square means 6 times 6, right? 8 square means 8 times 8. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 8 times 8 is 64, equals c square. And remember, 36 plus 64 becomes 100, right? 36 plus 64, if we add it up, we get a 0, 10 carry the 1, and another 10 here, and it's 100. So 6 squared equals 100. And remember, now, in order for us to find the c, we have to square root on both sides. So let's square root on both sides. Square root here, square root here. So finally, c equals square root of 100 is 10. So that's it. We found the answer, 10. And make sure you put feet. 10 feet. So the answer, the ladder, is actually 10 feet. You see how easy it was? If we were able to remember the Pythagorean Theorem, a square plus b square equals c square, very, very applicable to help us solve word problems. Let's take a look at another word problem here now. Let's take a look at this word problem. And here we have, it says here, the area of a square is 81 centimeters square. The area of this square is 81 centimeters square. Now we need to find the length of any diagonal. So let's randomly pick a diagonal. Let's do this diagonal right here. We need to find the length of that diagonal. But we know that the square, all the sides in the squares are equal, right? So if this is 81, remember, the area of a square equals side times side, or you can say side squared. Which number squared is going to give us 81? And of course, the answer is 9. So each side of this square is 9. Because 9 squared, 9 times 9 is 81. Okay? Each side of this square is 9. So that's it. Now we are going to use, again, the Pythagorean Theorem. And we are going to find the diagonal. Remember, a square plus b square equals c square, the famous theorem. Okay, so now the a square, a and b are the same, right? So this is 9 squared plus another 9 squared equals c squared. Okay? 9 squared means 9 times 9, right? 9 times 9, and here again 9 times 9, this is 81, and plus another 81 equals c squared. Okay, let's continue here. And then 81 plus 81, let's see what we get here. 81 plus 81, 1 plus 1 is 2, 8 plus 8 is 16, 162. 162 equals c squared. And now, remember, we have to square root on both sides to get the answer. So square root of 162 and square root of c squared. So now c is going to be equal to, let's get the calculator here. We got to put this in a calculator. So we have 162,162, and square root of that becomes 12.72, and we are going to round up to 12.7. So the answer is 12.7, and that's going to be centimeters. 12.7 centimeters. So this is going to be, this is 12.7. That's it, folks. We are able to find the diagonal by using the Pythagorean theorem. The famous Pythagorean theorem, we were able to prove it not too long ago. Let's take a look at another word problem here. In this case, we have, let's see what we have here. It says a rectangular soccer field is 90 meters wide and 120 meters long. Coach Dobrescu asks the players to run from one corner to the other corner diagonally, right? From this corner to the other corner diagonally across the field. And now we know we need to find the distance covered by each player. We got to find that distance. And again, we can see how applicable is the Pythagorean theorem. How useful it is for us to find that diagonal. Okay, so just by using the Pythagorean theorem, we can find the diagonal. Okay, so please remember, a square, don't ever forget that. A square plus b square equals c square. That's it. And now we are going to identify our a. So of course our a is the smaller side, which is 90 meters. We got to plug in 90 meters for a, and we are going to plug 120 meters for b, and then we are going to find the c, or the diagonal. Let's see. A square, we have 90 square, plus b square, we have 120 square, equals c square. Okay? 90 square means 90 times 90. 120 square means 120 times 120. Okay, we'll see what we get. So finally, first of all, let's do 90 times 90. So we have 90 times 90, right? And the trick to this would be to multiply the 9s. 9 times 9 is 81. So we get 81, followed by 2 zeros. 0, 0, right? Remember that. The same we can do for 120, right? 120 times 120. Remember, we know that 12 times 12 becomes 144, right? 144. And then we are going to follow by 2 zeros right there. Equals c squared. So now let's add those two numbers together. So now we have 14,400 and 8,100. So we have 14,400 plus, and now here we have 8,100. See what we get. 0, 0, 4 plus 1, 5, 8 plus 4, 12, 2 carry the 1, and here we have 22,500. But because we know a little trick here, we know that square root, so of course we are going to square root both sides, so c squared equals 22,500. And now, in order for us to find the answer, the c, we have to square root on both sides. So if we square root 22,500, we know that square root of 225 is 15. Remember that? And we need to follow by 2 zeros. So the answer is 150. Okay, so c equals 150, and that's going to be meters. 150 meters is our answer. 150 meters. That's the answer, folks, right there. 150 meters. So the players had to run 150 meters. And it makes sense, right? If the field is 90 meters wide and 120 meters long, it only makes sense that the diagonal is, of course, more than the length, so about 150 meters. So actually, this is the answer, 150 meters the players have to run. Let's continue with our last problem here. And in this problem, we have your math teacher, of course, Mr. Dobrescu to the rescue. tells you that a right triangle has an hypotenuse of 13 and a leg of 5. He asks you to find the other leg of the triangle, and the question is, what is your answer? And I want you for this one to take about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, pause this video and see if you can find the answer. And if you can find the answer, Mr. Dobrescu is going to give you an A++. Okay? Pause the video, look at this problem, and please remember, always use the Pythagorean Theorem. Okay? Take a moment. Okay, and when you're done, let's welcome back. And again, don't forget to write that theorem first. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So let's plug it in. Instead of A, the smaller leg is 5. And instead of B, oh, that's the that's the C actually. So don't forget and don't get confused. 13 is C. And B, we do not know, so we got to find the B. B is going to stay in the answer for now. So instead of A squared, we are going to plug in 5. So we have 5 squared plus B squared, because we need to find that, equals C squared, but C is 13 squared. Okay, and now let's get to work. 5 squared means 5 times 5, which is 25. Plus B squared, 13 squared means 13 times 13. And in the previous video, we know that 13 times 13 becomes 169. 169. And of course now we need to get B squared to be by itself. Okay, on this side of the equation. So we need to subtract 25 from both sides. So minus 25 here, minus 25 here, right? This cancels out. So we get B squared equals 169 minus 25. Okay? 9 minus 5 is 4. 6 minus 2 is 4, and that's a 144. And we know that because now we have to square root on both sides in order for us to find the B. And everyone should know that square root of 144 is 12. That's right. So B equals 12. And if you got 12, remember, Mr. Dobrescu is giving you A+++ and a happy face. Okay, so the answer is 12. So B equals 12. Okay, folks? You see, we were able to solve so many word problems today because we used the Pythagorean Theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And again, please don't ever forget that. And again, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. And don't forget to like and subscribe.